Dear children, we were studying morphology of plants, and in that we are studying especially about the flower, isn't it? So the various parts of worlds of flower we have seen, and I have also explained you about the symmetry and about the trimerous, tetramerous and pentamerous flowers, bracteate flowers, ebracteate flowers, and hypogynous, perigynous and epigynous flowers. Now we are going to study about the parts of a flower. Okay, so already I have told you there are four whorls for the flower. What are they? Calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. Isn't it? So these are the four whorls of the flower. What are they? Calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. These are known as the whorls of the floral whorls. Okay, floral whorls of the flower. Now let's see each part. First is calyx. Calyx is the outermost whorl of the flower, and the members of them are known as sepals. So, what are the units of calyx? Sepals, isn't it? And sepals are green in color, leaf-like structures. And what is the function of the sepals or calyx? Protect the flower when the flower is in the bud stage. Okay, so that is the major function of what? Calyx. It protects the flower when the flower is in the bud stage. Okay, then second whorl is corolla, and the units of corolla are petals. Okay, what are they? Petals. In calyx, what are the units known as? Sepals. So the major function of petals is to attract the insects for pollination, isn't it? So they are highly colored, or they may have scent, okay, or they have fragrance. Understood? So all this attracts the insects for pollination. Okay. So I told the calyx can be gamo sepalus or polysepalus. That is, gamosepalus means what? If the sepals are united. Okay, we cannot separate them what without tearing. Then we can call it as what? Gamosepalus. Okay, so if the sepals are free, then we call it as polysepalus. Okay, what are they? Polysepalus. Now corolla also in the same way. If the corolla are united, then we call it as what? Gamopetalous. There it was what? Gamosepalus. Here we call it as gamopetalous. And if the petals are free, then we call it as polypetalous. Okay, so gamopetalous means if the what the petals are united, and polypetalous means if the petals are united. Okay, if they are not united means if they are free. Okay, so like this they help in what? Different functions like attracting the insects for pollination. Okay, then or what to attract the birds or whichever is pollinating the plants. Understood? So like this gamopetalous and polypetalous organisms you can see. Okay, or what? Corolla you can see gamosepalous or polysepalous, or you can see what? Gamopetalous or gamo polypetalous. Now we have to study about the estivation. Okay, so what is estivation? How the sepals or petals are arranged in the floral bud. That is known as what? The estivation. Understood? So with respect to the other members of the same whorl, how the each member of the particular whorl is arranged, that is known as what? Estivation. Okay, so the main estivation types are valvate, twisted, imbricate, and vexillary. Okay, so like this what you can see a number of what types of estivation. Understood? So in calotropis, okay, you can see that, okay, it is having valvate estivation. So you can see here from the diagram you can understand. In valvate estivation you cannot see any overlapping. The adjacent petals, they are placed very near to each other, isn't it? They are placed to very very what very near to each other. Valvate estivation is that in which the petals or sepals are what arranged in such a way that, okay, the sepals or petals just touch one another. Okay, no overlapping. No overlapping will be there, but the members like what sepals or petals, they are just touching each other. So that is known as what? Valvate estivation. Clear? So valvate estivation means what? The sepals or petals in the world, they touch each other, but there is no overlapping. Okay, so this is known as valvate estivation. Understood? Now next is what? Twisted. You can see here. So in twisted B, okay, this one is twisted one. Okay, so in that in this you can see that one of the margin of one appendage is overlapping that of the other one. Okay, see here you can see one will be overlapping the other one and its end will be overlapping with the other. Likewise, if the arrangement is there, that is known as what? Twisted. Okay, now imbricate. Imbricate means it's a kind of inflorescence found in. Yes, so valvate means the sepals or petals are just touching. There is no overlapping as seen in the diagram. Okay, so this diagram you can see this one. Okay, so in this there is no overlapping, just they are touching each other. Then twisted means what? Here are the sepals or petals. One end of or margin of one appendages is overlapping with the next one. Okay, so like this you can see here, this end is inside and the other end is outside. Okay, now you see here in this will be overlapping this and at the same time this will be inside. Okay, so like this, if the margins or sepals, okay, margins of the appendages overlap that of the next one, okay, then it is known as what? Twisted. For example, in China rose, lady fingers, etc. Understood? Now next is what? Imbricate. Imbricate means if the margin of sepals or petals overlap one another but not in any particular direction, no direction is followed, but there is what? Overlapping. Okay, here you see in this how it is, one end of each petal is outside and at its another side is inside, out, in. Okay, out, in. Likewise it was, but here how it is? Here overlapping is there but not in any particular direction. Okay, the example is cassia and gulmohar. Understood? That kind of what the estivation is known as what? Imbricate estivation. Now another type that is very peculiar to the Papilionaceae family. Okay, Leguminosae one family is what? Papilionaceae. Okay, so in Papilionaceae family you can see a very special type of estivation that is known as vexillary or papilionaceous what? Estivation. So in this what is there? There are five petals, that is, see here one, okay, here two, three, then four, five. So he's what? According to this vexillary or papilionaceous estivation, there will be what? Five petals. The largest one is known as the standard petal. Okay, this is known as what? The standard petal. And the other two petals in the sides are known as wing petal. Okay, these are wing petals. And then you can see what? Two smaller anterior petals known as keel petals. Okay, keel petals, they are joined to form a single structure only. Understood? So like this, in vexillary estivation or papilionaceous estivation, you can see how many petals will be there? Five petals. What are they? One largest standard petal, then two lateral petals and two anterior petals, they are joined to form a single structure known as keel petal. Understood? So here you can see the largest petal. Okay, that is the standard petal that overlaps the two lateral petals. You can see they are found outside the lateral petals, isn't it? Here they are found outside. Understood? The end of the standard petals are outside. Understood? Then that in turn overlap the two smallest anterior petal, isn't it? Likewise, you can see the overlapping. Understood? Between the petals. Okay, so like this. What do you mean by estivation? Estivation is the arrangement of sepals or petals in the bud. Okay, and what are the major types of estivation? Valvate, twisted, imbricate, and vexillary. Valvate means what? Here there is no overlapping. Okay, the margins of the petals or sepals are not overlapping. They are just found near to each other. Okay, they are just touching, but there is no overlapping. Understood? Now in twisted, how it is? In twisted, one margin of one appendage, or appendage means sepal or petal. Okay, overlaps that of the next one, and then next one overlaps the other one. Likewise, what one petal, if you take one side will be out and another side will be in. Then in imbricated, okay, in imbricated, how it is? Here also overlapping is there, but not in a particular direction. Okay, you can see this one. Okay, that is this petals, both the sides are inside, and this petal you see one side out and one side in, but here you see both the sides are outside, so there is no particular pattern. Understood? That is what imbricate estivation. Okay, there is no particular direction. Then next is what vexillary, that you can see in where? In papillonaceous family. Okay, papillonaceous flowers. So there are 5 petals in them. Okay, and one is the standard petal. Okay, that overlaps the two lateral petals. Then that overlaps the keel petal. Okay, keel petal, which is forming a single structure by the joining. This kind of what estivation is known as what? Vexillary estivation. Understood? Then so about estivation, it is very clear now. With the help of diagram you can understand. Then next we have to study about the androecium. Androecium is what? The male part of the flower, isn't it? Male part of the flower is known as androecium. And what are the units of androecium? Stamens. Okay, they are made up of what? Stamens. Clear? Each stamen, if you see, they will have a stalk, okay, called the filament. The stalk is known as the filament, and there will be an anther. Okay, and each anther is bilobed, means 2 lobes are there, and in each lobe there will be 2 chambers, okay, or pollen sacs. And inside the pollen sacs only what will be produced? Pollen grains are produced. Understood? Then a sterile stamen is known as what? Staminoid. Staminoid means which is not the fertile one. Okay, they are lost their what development in some stages. So that kind of sterile stamens are known as what? Staminoids. Now, when we study about the stamens, okay, I told the sterile stamens are known as staminoid. Now, in some flowers, you can see the stamens, okay, they are united with petals. Okay, if they are united with the petals, then they are known as epipetals. Okay, so in brinjal or in dhatura, etc., you can see. Okay, so the you can see that the stamens are attached to the petals. You have to tear the stamen. Understood? So that kind is known as epipetalous stamen. So what are epipetalous stamens? Stamens attached to the petals, or it can be said as epiphyllous when it is attached to perianth. What is perianth? Perianth is the structure that cannot be distinguished into sepal or petals, isn't it? In monocot flowers, you can mainly see this perianth. So, if the stamens are attached to the perianth, then we call that kind of stamens as what? Epiphyllous. Okay, epiphyllous stamens. So, epipetalous means if they are attached. What If the stamens are attached to the petals, then we call it as what? Epipetalous. And if the stamens are attached to the perianth, what is perianth? The undistinguishable part of the part, like what, it cannot be distinguished into calyx or corolla. Okay, so they will be colored. Okay, and what they do, the function of attracting the insects, but they are not distinguishable into what, sepals or petals. Understood? So that kind of structures are known as what? Perianth. And if the stamens are attached to the perianth, then we call it as what? Epiphyllous stamens. Understood? Now, if the stamens are free, then we call it as what? Polyandrous stamens. What are they? Polyandrous. Poly means many, isn't it? So many group or many are there. Understood? They are not attached or they are not grouped. And in some flowers, you can see they may be united also. Okay. So the stamens, okay, can be, if they are united into one bunch or one bundle, then we call it as what? Monadelphous. So in hibiscus flower, you can see that very clearly, isn't it? At the tip of the what, staminal tube, you can see many stamens are attached. Okay, so what are monadelphous stamens? The stamens are united into one bunch or one bundle, that is known as what? Monadelphous. And if they are having two branches or two bundles, then it is known as what? Diadelphous. Understood? And in pea or some other plants, pea, it's very common, isn't it? There are more than two bundles. Okay, so like this, what, these are the parts of what? Androecium. And why we have to study about it, you understood now? If the stamens are united into one group, then it is known as monadelphous. You can see in where China rose. And sometimes they are what, grouped into two groups or two bundles, then it is known as diadelphous. Okay, and if there are more than two bundles, then we call it as polyadelphous. Okay, so like this, what the stamens, I told the stamens are the units of androecium, and it consists of what? Anther and filament. Sterile stamens are known as stamenoid. If the stamens are attached to the petals, then epipetalous, and if they are attached to the perianth, then it is epiphyllous. Okay. Then, if the stamens are united into a free or into one bunch, then it is known as monadelphous stamens. And if they are forming two bunches, diadelphous. And in what, some plants like peas, okay, they form more than two bundles, then it is known as polyadelphous. Understood? Sorry, this diadelphous you can see in where? P. Okay, and polyadelphous in citrus. Understood? So like this, you can see the different grouping of stamens. Okay, monadelphous means one group, diadelphous means two groups. Okay, and polyadelphous means more than two bundles. Understood? So monadelphous example is very common, China rose. Okay, in two adelphous, okay, where two groups of stamens are seen, that is diadelphous. And if more than two bundles are there, then it is known as polyadelphous. Understood? So about all these terms, it's very clear to you. So we will study this rest of the chapters in the next class. Thank you.